and welcome to the Alt+Tab show.
Hey guys.
It's Friday, June 13th. Dun dun dun!
It's Friday the 13th.
It is Friday the 13th and a full moon.
Wow, I did not even realize that. In that case, we have probably about 2 hours before Ches turns into a werewolf or a vampire.
Is that the right one?
Or
at the same time.
Isn't there some hybrid werewolf vampire
Underworld
thing?
up in here, yeah.
That's from Underworld?
Yeah.
Or is that from like everything?
No, it's
Everything.
Underworld.
Underworld has the hybrid.
Specifically.
That's what Ches is going to turn into. So we have very limited time before we need to cut off our live stream today. But gosh, things have been busy lately. In case you guys missed it, I was in Taiwan for not a terribly long period of time relative to last year. I was there for about like 8 or 9 days. Steve was there. Rachel was
Everybody was there, and I was
Who
here
and Cal was there.
alone.
Jenny was here, holding down the fort.
No.
So I just wanted to say thank you, Jenny, and thank you, Ches, for keeping things going
You're
here
welcome.
while we were gone. You guys did a great job. And
thank you, all of you, for tuning in and continuing to watch this show. I don't know why, it just surprised me so much last Friday when so many people showed up. I was like, really?
Oh, yeah.
You guys want to see me
People
talk?
want to see all that good stuff.
Really?
So
No, you were here for Ches, I know.
well, it's hard not to tune in when Ches is on the screen, even whether he's flying helicopters or talking about things. You know what we should do is turn the air conditioner up.
Yes,
That's what we should do.
It's getting hot in here,
Ches, would you?
and I'm not
that's
taking off
beautiful.
any of my clothes.
What do you want to?
I might,
Oh my
but no, probably not. Just hit the down arrow till it goes to like 72. I don't know.
It's on 66.
It is?
Yeah.
Are you sure that's not the low? There's a low and a high number.
Oh,
Yeah, the high number should be
70. You're good.
setting the air conditioning. Okay. But back to what I was talking about before.
Yes.
We have some stuff to talk about with you guys today. Actually, though, on the tech news side of it, like there was such a splurge of tech news with Computex and everything, and then E3 followed up right afterwards, and now it's like everything's been told, and like
Yeah.
nobody, everyone's out of like ammunition for the time being. So.
Oh, thank you for the mouse.
If you all could send us your tweets, we got our Twitter handles down here in the area below us. Yes, we do. That should be appropriate. Let us know. You can ask me if you have any questions about Computex, my time there, whether you want to talk about the show itself or whether you want to talk about what we did in our off time. Kyle and I actually both posted some like behind the scenes videos that we took with our camera phones. Oh, thank you. It was. I thought it was just, like every once in a while I'd be like, oh yeah, I should turn my phone on, and recorded some stuff, and we spliced those all together. So if you have any questions about that stuff, feel free to ask. And then Jenny was fortunate enough to spend 3 days at E3 this week, and Steve was able to spend 0.
Oh.
0. We're sad.
Steve, I think might be in the Twitch chat, coming to us from a place of isolation.
I'm sorry,
He's
Steve.
in quarantine. The
It's okay.
CDC has descended upon him.
But the important thing is that on the way back from the airport, Steve was not stopped at the checkpoint, because if you go through there and like you got like 105 fever or something like that, like they'll quarantine you and they'll keep you there. I was coming back from, was that Taiwan last year? I forget where I was coming back from, but I was like sick. I was like, oh crap, I'm kind of sick. I was walking through. I was just like, please don't stop me, because they like won't let you through. So Steve, you're lucky you made it home to your lovely wife and all of your computers.
Click over here on Paul Favorites.
Oh yeah, that one. But I need to favorite something for that, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
That's cool. That's cool. I forget how this works.
It's all right.
anymore.
It's good.
It's been a while. Jenny, how's it going?
It's good. Yes, so I spent 3 magical days at E3, and if you guys have seen any of my super exuberant coverage videos, because we were down a man in our crew, it was kind of difficult to get as in-depth with the coverage as we originally had planned to. But I have to say that we owe a big vote of thank you to Q over at GameCrate. He's one of the new writers on the GameCrate site. If you haven't checked it out, www.gamecrate.com. And he has the hookup everywhere. Everywhere. We got VIP, front of line, lots of swag. I have so much swag. I'm sorry, I just probably bumped my mic all over the place.
That's okay.
Piles.
And some of it's for Steve, right? You brought a few things for Steve?
Tina did.
Tina brought things for Steve.
Tina brought some stuff for Steve.
Of course. I didn't bring much back from Taiwan. I did bring some LEDs.
Yeah.
Those were fun. I got a new screwdriver. I did want to point that out to you guys. My screwdriver, which was confiscated on the way back from PAX East because I accidentally forgot to put it in my checked bag, I got a replacement for it. It's very, very similar, and I'm really excited. So we'll be doing a special video for my screwdriver coming up very soon, I'm sure. But shall we jump into and start talking about some of the stories that we?
I suppose.
I suppose. All right.
Even though
am I even looking?
I do have to say that we pointed out earlier, but really the tech news this
not
Friday
a whole lot
was
going on.
a little lackluster.
But all right. Here's a story that's not really a story. If you were watching the news earlier today, you might have heard that Origin was hacked and 1.2 million usernames and passwords were stolen. That apparently is not the case. But thanks to Strider for pointing that out to us. He was really quick on that to say like, hey, check this out. Because it would have been something that we should have told you about and you should have gone and changed your Origin password, but you shouldn't and it didn't happen. And that's probably good news because Origin has said that really was kind of a fake. One thing to point out though, one warning that you should be aware of is if you are hearing about this story, don't go and click on the file thing. Because that's really what it is. It was clickbait to try to get people to download this little file that they had put on there, which is no doubt, going to install all kinds of viruses and malware and adware and maybe Internet Explorer on your computer. Which, gosh. But so that's my first tech news story, which is just a bit of an FYI. Okay, apparently next, I do have a new piece of tech. It's actually on the test bed, which is right there, which you guys probably can't see. But trust me, it's right there. It's a new Pentium Anniversary Edition processor, aka the G3258. The Pentiums, they have those real exciting product names. But if you guys haven't heard of this one, with the new Pentium processors, the new Intel processors that have come out, we've got the Devil's Canyons. Those were just launched last week at the beginning of Computex. We did some overclocking. Actually, tons of overclocking was going on with those all week. Hit some really nice, they hit like 5.5 gigahertz with them on air. Granted, those are like the world's best overclockers, but they're pretty exciting. They're actually more tuned for air overclocking than they are for like exotic overclocking, like LN2 or that sort of thing, which is kind of nice because LN2 is fun and all, but it's not really that practical. But there's another processor of that same kind of series, but not the exact same. It's not technically Devil's Canyon, but it still has well. It's the Anniversary Edition G3258. This is a dual-core, not hyper-threaded processor, but it's going to be like $75.
Nice.
Yeah, $75, and so it's it's going to fall down in that lower range with like the i3s and that sort of thing, or below the i3s where you get to the Pentiums. But the fact that it's completely unlocked means that you could potentially, if you know a little bit about overclocking and you have a reasonable air cooler. Right now, I've been testing it with the Hyper 212 Evo.
Okay.
You can take it from its stock frequency, which is 3.2 gigahertz, to 4 gigahertz plus, and
so that puts you in like i7 range.
Well, to some degree, there's a lot of stuff about it that's cut down, and the fact that it's only dual core instead of quad core and that sort of thing. But it does mean the headroom there, if you're willing to overclock it, and the fact that it's completely unlocked, is way, way more than anything down in that range. And prior to now, if you wanted an unlocked processor from Intel, you had to pay for 4670K, or now a 4690K, which are all $220, $230, unless you get a good sale on them. So, $75 to $80. Fantastic overclocking potential. So far, I've only got it to about 4.1 or 4.2. I initially was just like, I'm going to do 4.8, and that didn't work. So I'm going to try to do some more tweaking on that, and hopefully bring you guys a video on the overclocking experience with that. But honestly, going even from 3.2 to 4 or 4.2, really huge improvement, and for $75, $80.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I also like that you're doing it with a super accessible cooling option.
Oh, thank you.
Because this, is outlining a really reasonable way that you, me, normal, people who would be interested in learning overclocking or just getting into it, that's great. It's not an expensive option. It's really affordable. It's super easy to set up and do. So many times, like, we see all the glory going to overclocking happening with, all kinds of crazy things, and this is like a really, really good example of what a home user who's, maybe just an average, like, middle-of-the-road DIY enthusiast could do.
And yeah, the Hyper 212 Evo, I mean, you're going to see people taking this and, like, dropping like an H100i on or something like that, and then you're like, that cooler costs more than the processor, which
Yeah.
doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So yeah, that's why I wanted to go
Unless
with
you have a spare one sitting around.
That's true. If you've got
Like an old
if
system
you've
or
got a
something.
if you've got a backup lying around, then you should be cool there. But so that is the reason I went with the Hyper 212 Evo, because it's very reasonably priced and excellent performance. But actually, what I've seen a lot of people doing with some of these reviews I've seen so far, and these are all engineering sample reviews that have been going out, is they're just overclocking it with the stock cooler and getting some pretty reasonable results. So it seems like you should easily be able to hit 4 gigahertz on this with a little bit of tweaking, and depending on the CPU you have, you might be able to go up in the 4.2 to 4.5 range. When we were at Computex, they said that they had hit 5 gigahertz on air. Granted, that was probably a very cherry-picked.
Not for very long.
Well, that's supposed. I didn't get many details about it. We were so busy there, I wasn't able to follow up too much. But even getting to 4.2 to 4.5, that's very impressive for a $75, $80 processor. So I think it's got a lot of potential for entry-level gaming systems. Something like an HTPC, any little system that you want to put together.
Yeah.
Overclock it. But really,
that's a good idea. I've been thinking about building an HTPC.
Yeah,
so.
it'd be great for an HTPC. But really, I think the potential is only going to be realized more so when you overclock it. So, and really, that's not that hard. Go in, change the multiplier from 32 to 40.
I'd actually like to build my parents an HTPC because they still tape things on VHS.
And they really like overclocking, right?
Well, my dad, I could see this being a retirement thing for him.
There you
He would
go.
love that. My parents, who were early adopters of every technology except the DVR, for reasons I still have yet to understand.
The DVR is it's so convenient, though.
I know, right? It's super convenient, but they don't want to pay the cable company more money for it.
Especially when you build your own DVR.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I'm actually pissed that Verizon charges me $5 a month for a cable card. That's really come on. But still, like, it doesn't pay for itself because the capture card I'm using is kind of expensive, but it still makes it. Oh, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Nocturne Kitty's asking what happened to the MSI AM3 Plus gaming motherboard. I didn't see that one there. We went to MSI. I didn't see that one there. I know I'm getting off topic.
That's okay.
But Asus did have one. Asus had an AM3 Plus Ranger board, ROG.
Well, it's a good thing MSI is so nearby because we can call them up and just have them bring us one.
Yeah,
sometime.
if they've got one, we can
and show
totally
it to you.
we can totally do that. All right.
It's kind of the benefit of being where we are. We've got Gigabyte up the street one way and MSI pretty much down the street the other way. So.
All right. What is this a picture
convenient.
of? This is weird.
Convenient. I don't know. That is weird. Oh no! Our viewers tweet us pictures of them watching our show.
Yeah, there's us.
I like
us
that.
there with the Linus background. Actually, I got Linus. This is from Skandaraj.
Yeah, we've got the tech.
Linus, Tech Syndicate, and us there in the middle. It's like a tech sandwich.
It is.
And we're the meat.
I was thinking we're the peanut butter and jelly, but
The peanut butter and jelly, and the meat.
because you're like, well.
I'm Paul. Oh, see, P and J. That makes sense. I like it. Very, very clever. Okay. Moving right along, though. Let's do. Wait, what do we have next?
I don't know.
We're so prepared for today's show.
Did you go? Well, where's the document?
You want to do some video games?
Sure.
I got the document. I'm not really going in order, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could talk a little bit about what I saw at E3.
Okay, let's talk about E3. You want to start with Valiant Hearts?
I want to start with Valiant Hearts.
Okay.
E3, as my first E3 experience, was amazing, and I apologize if my exuberance led to me not having very articulate things to say about it, but man, my brain was like a mashed potato at the end of each day.
Is it very like frenetic too? There's just so much lights and sound and music
and sound and people yelling, and
it's like worse than a Vegas casino.
it really is. So much going on, so much to process. By the third day, I finally got it together with actually sitting down and taking notes after each time I played a game.
Notes are helpful.
Because I played, I think, yesterday I played 15 minutes of, I think, 10 different games.
And what? In 15 minutes?
No, I played 15 minutes of 10 different
Oh,
games.
15. Oh, so that's
So
like
that turns into
a while.
that turns into like madness in your brain.
Did you know that a trench is 2.5 meters deep? They were
Yeah.
dug in zigzags to avoid shooting in rows and damage caused by shrapnel.
That's
So what is
one of the-
Valiant Hearts?
That is one of the fun facts you can learn. What? Where
Oh.
did my Twitch go?
Resetting your password.
Sorry, I had to do
It's
that
okay.
earlier. So Valiant Hearts is a game from UB Arts, and so Ubisoft is releasing it, and I really fell in love with it at the Ubisoft press conference. When I saw the trailer, it really did make me cry. There's so much emotion wrapped up in this game. It's based on real letters from World War I and real actual accounts of people in World War I. And it's kind of a puzzle slash adventure slash educational game. So as you go through the game, you have the opportunity to learn little tidbits here and there about World War I, since it is called the Forgotten War, which is unfortunate since so many people died in it. And also you solve puzzles. So you have your little canine companion, and you're kind of like playing co-op with yourself, because you have to instruct the dog to do things to help you to solve certain puzzles. So the part I got to play is what you see on the screen right here. That was part of the demo. And I was a prisoner of, or my character at this time was a prisoner of war, and he was in a German camp. And so I had to feed the dog and feed the soldiers. And then a bomb went off, and I had to clear my way out. And then my friend came and set me free. And then I moved on to another part to go look for another friend of ours in the group. So you play alternately as 5 different characters, but you always have the dog with you. And there will be situations where it's kind of like there are morality choices in this game, but it basically makes you make the right choice. And even if it's an enemy, like a French cook in a German war camp, the Germans would be the enemy. But still, part of the puzzle I had to solve was before I could move on and get the dog, I had to help the German soldier out of the snow so that he would give me something that I could move on with.
Do you have to choose like which enemy to kill first or something like that?
There's no killing.
How do you win?
You solve the puzzles, you rescue your friends.
And then your friends go and kill people?
No. There's no killing in this game.
It's a very confusing game. It seems like
It's a war game
very high
where
concept.
you never hold a gun. Like my main tool was a giant ladle.
a ladle.
I had a ladle
How
and
do
a
you
dog.
how do you kill people with a ladle? Okay, maybe. That's no, but that I like the concept of that, and I do like that there is a war game that isn't just about like here's your side and here's the other side and everyone kill each other and whoever kills the most wins because
that's Call of Duty.
Because that's Call of Duty, Battlefield, most of the AAA war game titles. Yeah, because sometimes there seems to be perhaps a bit much on the glorification of war side versus the hey, wars are bad type thing. Which yeah.
And this doesn't really. It's not really about teaching you a path of nonviolence or that wars are bad. It's just trying to show how people tried to preserve their humanity in the face of extreme and horrific time in world history. So and it's also beautifully done. The art in it is beautiful. The people are really super passionate about the game that they've created. And also, P.S. it's coming out in 10 days or so. It's coming out June 25th, and it's available for pre-order right now for $15.
Nice.
Like I spend that in a month on Final Fantasy XIV. I'll go buy this game for sure.
You do?
Well, yeah, like those monthly subscriptions, like 12.
Oh, the monthly subscriptions. Right, I haven't had a monthly subscription in a while. And if you're like going through a history class, you can learn about World War I.
This will help you.
It could be very exciting.
And also, it can help you if you're, in a history class, maybe not about World War I specifically, but you want to be able to teach others about it. I mean, you'll have all these information you can share.
Very nice.
The trailer will make you cry.
If it's a dog, it's a dog. It's a sad dog, isn't it? Dog is okay. It's like that episode of.
Once the dog is sad, it's over.
It's like that. Which is the episode of Futurama with the dog? Oh my gosh!
I don't know.
So
I
at the end of it,
Futurama.
and he's like the dog's just waiting for him. You know, but he went in the future. Okay, it's so sad.
I don't know.
Okay, Assassin's Creed. Here's a AAA title.
Here's a AAA
New Assassin's Creed coming out.
Switch to the big cam section for a second before we get to
right.
controversy.
All right.
I want to say that when I saw the trailer for Assassin's Creed Unity, I couldn't be more enthusiastic about this game. I got to go see some of the demo gameplay from one of the developers who's been working on it for 4 years, and they're super passionate about the game being historically accurate to that period in French history. And all of the richness and the textures and the gameplay, everything in it I was so impressed. I was just blown away. I'm super excited about this.
It's based on Les Mis, right? Okay, I'm sorry.
I didn't see that one coming.
No?
Yes, but
okay.
less Anne Hathaway, as we're about to note.
Yes, that's true. All right, so one of the things that was somewhat exciting about this is there was the potential to play as a male or female character, but they have said no. There's no women in Revolutionary era France.
Except for the one that started the revolution.
But I mean, that's not really
We're
that important,
not
right?
talk about her, though.
So there's the trailer.
Yeah, so our guy 1832 Vince says, wait 4 years, just how old are the mechanics? I asked them, actually. They were shocked that I asked them, I said, is this running on DirectX 11 or DirectX 12? And he said, well, no, they're porting it for DirectX 12, but it will, obviously, you can use a DirectX 11, but then you can use it with a DirectX 12, card, obviously.
Yeah.
But they've been developing it for that engine, so...
There's no scrolling options on this page at all. Okay, sorry guys.
Oh, it's over on the side, isn't it?
I mean side to side.
Oh.
It's just cutting out there.
That's annoying.
You guys can go watch the trailer.
It has a super amazing cover of Tears for Fears, Rule the World, done by Lorde in the trailer. That's very haunting and apropos.
Ooh, French.
I speak a little bit.
Because it's set in France.
Je vais au
Je parle français un petit peu. No?
A very little bit?
A very little bit.
I think I speak a little more than you then.
You probably do.
But anyway, so I walked into that to Ubisoft and in there, and everybody I encountered was kind of looking at me with this like weird, kind of shocked look. And I thought, all right, people are weird, whatever. I just let it go. And it wasn't until later when someone brought to my attention that Ubisoft is under so much heat right now for their comments about why there are no women in this game that I was like, oh, that's why they were being weird. They thought I was in there to go chop some nuts off or something.
Well.
I couldn't have been more enthusiastic about the game. So the developer that I talked to, I was like, this is a beautiful game. Thank you so much for setting it in this period of French history. I'm really excited to play it. He's like, oh, you're welcome. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. I probably thought I was about to light him up. But then it wasn't until later. I probably would have been a little bit less warm if I had known that their comment about why they can't have women assassins in the co-op on this game is because it would be too much work to animate them.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a cop-out.
Wow, guys.
With all the time and investment and that sort of thing. I mean, to me, it more says they would have needed to develop the game with that in mind from the get-go. And the game hasn't been in development for a very long time. And yes, there probably is a fair amount of work in going back retroactively and making sure that the different models are going to work with different animations and that sort of thing. So the problem isn't really that they don't have the time to develop this. The problem is that they didn't start with that idea in mind.
Exactly.
So I think
they said that it would take something like 8,000 more. I don't know. There was some number that it was like it would take 8,000 more people or hours to develop a female character for this game, and we need double everything to have female characters. We need double animators, double engineers, double voice artists, double. And I'm like, why? You're not doing a 1-for-1 here. You're just doing another. And the other thing too is the Assassin's Creed characters basically run around in dresses anyway. So really, what's so hard about this, guys?
Hoodie dresses.
Yeah, hoodie dresses. They're super cool hoodie dresses.
And as several of us have also pointed out, I mean, there are female assassins in the game already. I'm still slogging through Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Was playing a little bit more last night, and we had already discussed this a little bit yesterday. I was like, look, there's a female assassin right there.
I know, it's totally doable. It just doesn't, I don't know. I feel like they just really said the wrong thing too. Like they could have said anything else. They could have said, well, you know, we just don't feel like it fits with this storyline, or not this time around, or anything. Anything would be better than it's too hard to animate women.
Yeah, it was the wrong response. It seemed like more of a cop-out than a just saying, yes, we should have, we're sorry we didn't, we will strongly consider it for the next.
And
see, I should be PR for Ubisoft.
Yeah,
Ubisoft.
they should hire.
I'm you know.
And then if you want a female PR rep,
means.
we work as a great team. The two of us do.
Yes, I understand that I shouldn't call women girls. They should be called women.
I appreciate that.
Unless they're young.
Unless they're under the age of 18.
18? I don't know what the cutoff is.
18.
18.
Legal voting age.
Okay. All right.
That's actually by the Associated Press standards.
Oh, all right. And if there are any girls watching right now, don't call me. That's okay.
I think our female viewers, especially Kitty.
Hi, Kitty.
She probably feels the same way about it that I do. Is that a good game is a good game to me, and I'm not saying like this should be like the norm from here forward, but we are pretty used to playing games where there isn't a character that we can relate to. Mm-hmm. But a good game is a good game, so we're going to play them regardless. It would be nice if they would put more time into developing games with female protagonists, you know.
I agree.
But it's kind of slow coming, and but I think we're getting there. I think the message is getting across, and the market share is large enough that we will start, you know, getting an answer that's positive. But we attract more flies with honey, so the people who are out there just like, I'm gonna boycott Ubisoft because they can't put women in games and they said something stupid. It's like that might send them a message, but I'm still gonna play it. I think it'll be a great game.
Me too.
Did you? I don't know if you watched the video, but the guy told me, he said the map for Assassin's Creed Black Flag, the entire map could fit in the lower third of the map for
good Lord.
Unity.
Given how long it's taken me to get through Assassin's Creed 4,
and also
that's good and bad.
Scaled all of the buildings are to scale of the buildings in Paris. So now instead of like, he was joking, he said, because there was no way to do Paris, you know, the way we've done other Assassin's Creed, you know, games where the buildings are all pretty low and you can just kind of jump off a building onto something. He was like, it was completely silly, and of course he's saying it with a French accent, so he's like, it was completely silly. We had haystacks everywhere. It didn't make any sense.
We gotta have hay.
So now you actually have to climb up buildings and then climb back down them.
Oh.
And so there's a different function in the controls.
How do you do the leap of faith, though? Do they still have leap of faith?
Yes.
Okay.
But
that's fun.
Because you're jumping across, like, you know, there isn't going to be a hay cart on the other side to catch you if you don't make it.
All right. So, shall we move on to, what is this one?
Oh, wait. There's
more Assassin's
just
Creed?
one more thing. They showed us how the cutscenes for Assassin's Creed are going to be completely seamless.
Oh, I like that.
There is no break between you in your mission and a cutscene and the end of the cutscene going back to the mission. It's all one seamless flow.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. Like, and because of how good or how high quality the rendering of the characters are in gameplay, they get away with it seamlessly. Like, there's no switch in quality between the playable character and the cutscene characters. I mean, there's a little bit of a difference in some of the textures. They up them a bit here and there, and the like close-ups on the face are more detailed.
Yeah, like, how are they going to get around that with like for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions? Is that?
I don't know.
It might make it rough.
I read somewhere that they're saying it's not going to be a possible thing for them to have those versions.
Oh, are they just not developing it for those?
It said, like, I don't know, there is some controversy going on about what gen consoles they are developing it for, but I was just going to wait for PC anyway, so I wasn't too worried about it.
Well, and Assassin's Creed, I think they've been pretty good about releasing in parallel on all the platforms. But yeah, I feel like we're still at a stage with the consoles, not that I know all that much about the consoles, but I feel like we're still at a point where the install base for consoles, for the last gen consoles, is still so huge that for a title like that with that much development cost, like you kind of need to create versions for the older consoles. But hey, we're gonna play it on PC and turn everything up and play it even higher resolution than
Twitter time.
Twitter time. Everyone say things to us on Twitter. So we have a question here from Mike.
DPI on this mic mouse is
from the real Mike
super
1234. You can change it with the little.
Holy smokes!
Yeah. Now it might be too low.
I don't care.
Something in between.
Wow.
Sniper mode. All right. So Mike wants to know: did Steve get sick from the chocolate at the airport, or from liquid oatmeal at Computex?
I think he got it from licking the chair handle on his plane.
Oh, that's gross.
I'm kidding. Steve would never do that.
I can't think of an object that that looks cleaner that still gives me that reaction from considering the prospect of licking it. That's ew. I don't know. Like it's hard to say for Steve. So I was trying to be very careful about the time change and jet lag, and like the times that our flights were going to and from, and like when you should sleep or not sleep on the plane. So like on the flight there, I wanted to not sleep at all, or sleep as little as possible because we were arriving at night. So we wanted to be able to go to sleep right away. On the way back, I wanted to sleep as much as I could, like the whole flight, because we were arriving in the morning, and I wanted to stay up throughout the day. And Steve messed all that up, so I'm going to blame it on that.
Okay.
Steve didn't take my advice on the. I hope Steve's still watching right now, because
I haven't seen him in the chat.
We'd get off the flight and I'd be like, I saw you. You slept too long. And they're like on the way back, and he's like, yeah, I slept a couple hours. And it's like, no, you should have slept more. But sometimes I like to doom and gloom Steve, because he's just such a positive person, and for some reason my contrary nature just wants to counter that as much as I can. But
he said that every cab he got in, though, the driver was just hacking and coughing and sputtering.
Oh yeah, that's very common.
And then being stuck in a steel tube for 14 hours with recycled air with 600 of your not closest friends. I wonder if he took Rachel. Rachel had these pills, these vitamin supplement pills that Those
were
things
like
are amazing.
They had like there was like dried lizard in it, as well as vitamin C, as well as other exotic supplements. Like that you would, like if this was like the 1200s or something, like they would send people out on a quest to get these pills, so that they could bring them back to save the dying king. That was kind of the impression that I had of them. So yeah, Steve, you should have taken more of those.
And those that Rachel has really works. I swear, I credit them for curing the last illness I had in this office. Anyway, okay, I've got a couple. Dimitrioli says, Jenny, always remember nothing is true, everything is permitted. And did you play all of them? What did you think of the story? I haven't played all of them. I think the one I've played the most of is probably Black Flag, but I know the story of all of them because I love history and I've always been enamored with the beauty of those games since they first came out. So I actually, because I don't have a lot of game playing skill, I'm getting better. But I've actually watched people play through 2 of the Assassin's Creeds and really, really enjoyed them. Even just as a bystander, I really enjoyed them.
It's kind of like the Uncharted series. I remember doing some spectating with Uncharted, and it's just like you can watch it. It's like watching a movie, except at times you'd be like, no, don't go there, go there.
Yeah. Like, why are you running in circles right now? Stop doing that. You're making me sick.
And you realize he had fallen asleep on the controller or something like that.
And then Nocturne Kitty, she asks, would you have really went Nutcracker mode if you knew about the statement? See, my way of going Nutcracker mode, if I'm confronted with somebody face to face, is more of like the guilt trip mom style. So I would really have been more like, I've been a fan of your games since they came out, 10 years ago now? and it really disheartens me that as a fan and such an enthusiastic supporter, you won't create a character for me to relate to.
Is it like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed?
Exactly. That's exactly how I do it. I'm not mad at you, I'm just so disappointed.
Just,
and
I was looking forward to it so much.
My heart is hurt by what you've done here and what you've said.
Wow. It really sucked to be your kid and have you do a guilt trip, because
yeah. I lay it on Catholic style.
Yeah, wow, that's rough. Kelly Tech, this is going back to that AM3 Plus motherboard. He said that the MSI one is actually a 970 chipset rather than like a 990FX, and so he lost interest. But again, the Asus ROG Ranger AM3 Plus looked pretty cool. If you're looking to build a high-end AM3 system, definitely seemed cool. There was a few more in here.
My Space Mike 757, what car in Transformers 4 did you think is the coolest one? You know, I've never seen all of any of the Transformers movies. I watched the first 30 minutes of the first one and couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
It's kind of like me with the Fast and the Furious movies, but...
Really?
Yeah. No, the
That's all right. I think most of those are pretty painful, too.
Okay, good.
The first one.
Good.
The first one and the fourth one are the only ones that I will still watch, like a repeat watch of. But all of the rest of them I've only seen like 1 or 2 times.
Yeah, it's drivel.
And the sixth one, I saw it in a drive-in, and me and my friend that I was with, we were like Mystery Science Theater 3000 with it, and we like just made up our own lines and made fun of the whole thing.
That's fun, if you can just sit there and kind of mock the film the whole time.
I think I probably would have taken it a little bit more seriously if I knew Paul Walker was going to die.
That is sad.
Because that did hurt my heart. Anyway.
But Mike has another question.
Sure.
What are your opinions on the Gunnar glasses that you are wearing, or the Gunnar glasses in general?
They took a little bit of getting used to. The first 3 days, I was kind of a little bit, nauseous and had a little bit of a headache. But
Really?
I think it's because I forgot to take them off. You're not supposed to go from looking at a screen to driving your car in them.
Ah,
Don't
important.
do that.
Little fun fact.
They are designed to look at a screen, and pretty much that's it. But Gunnar does have sunglasses that are developed for sunglass use, so you can switch from your screen Gunnars to your sunglass Gunnars. But it's because these have a slight magnification on them, that so that your eyes don't have to work so hard to focus on things on a screen.
Do they do a lot of blue light blocking as well?
Yeah, that's what they're for, specifically.
So I know the blue light is, bad, so that's important. I can't say that I've used Gunnars extensively, although I probably will if I can start remembering to wear my contacts, because I can't wear them over my regular glasses.
Or you can have, Gunnar will put your prescription in their glasses.
I don't know
Mike's
if
getting his made.
Oh, Mike, okay.
I'm going to get them and I will report back.
All right, Mike's going to let us know about that.
You can watch my video on them on Newegg TV. I did a video and I included the science behind why Gunnars work and what they're trying to block, and also the different types of light damage that are happening to your eyes that you probably aren't aware of. And I actually did like the research on it and everything. So you can check out that video and
cool.
And then hopefully give it a try.
I will say my wife, who works in internet marketing and looks at a computer screen for a large portion of the day, she went and bought a pair, and she wears them at work all the time. So if you spend a long time looking at computer screens, I think it's definitely something to consider, because ocular degeneration, or whatever the heck it's called.
Yes.
Hey, I got that right.
It's macular degeneration.
Macular. Sounds like you're chewing something.
I know.
Masticular degeneration is definitely something that's serious, and I would say especially if you have a desk job during the day and you game at night. Like, if you're look into doing something like that. And do the rule of 20s, by the way. For every 20 minutes you sit, for 20 seconds, look at something 20 feet away or further. That's like important. Like, don't stare at a screen for more than like an hour if you can avoid it. That's actually really important. And we don't want anybody to go blind or to have their vision deteriorate. But cool. Wait, we have some more questions.
And they're asking about, have I ever tried Flux or Flux, and if you did, are the Gunnars significantly better? I have tried Flux. Flux does not block high, it's called high energy value light, HEV light, because you can't see it. You can't see blue light. It's like ultraviolet. It's in the light spectrum. You can't see it. It's a high energy light. And just by switching the color on your screen doesn't necessarily turn that off. And also, like TVs, any screen you look at, your cell phone, your tablet, everything has it. So I do have flux on my computer at home. Kyle actually installed it for me because he's very thoughtful like that, and he put it on all of our computers for us. I have it actually installed on this laptop as well because Kyle came around and did all of them. And it does make you, like, it is more restful to look at, and it's easier to look at, especially in a dim room with that on. But I don't know that that actually limits the amount of high energy blue light you're looking at. Because it's the screen itself. It's the light in the screen. So anyway.
Another option.
Kraken. Can you guys?
Kraken ZB says hi. Hello.
Hi. He also asks, can you guys do more videos on cheaper stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, we got an oscillating fan video coming up.
We shouldn't. That's a huge reveal. We're going to be coming out with that video.
I blew it. And
now everyone knows. We're gonna have to cancel the release party we're gonna have for that video and everything. Yeah, that processor over there, $75.
Apparently, some 9th graders hacked an ATM in Canada.
Yes, and I do have that lined up for later in the show.
So coming up.
Although we should hurry up because we've already gone through 45 minutes.
We're just talkers.
Crazy.
Today.
We've just been talking.
Yeah, let's move on to some of your stories then.
Well, a few more Twitter replies I want to do.
Sure.
Next gen titles at E3. I didn't go to E3. Sorry, Alan. But Jenny's talking about a few more, and Jenny has a couple more to talk about as well. Why the Netscape browser? Because it's
Alan,
funny.
tweet at me if you can. Okay.
Craft Chest is asking, what do I like, the 270X or the HD 7870? I believe those are the same card. I hope I'm not wrong on that.
Wait, which?
Wait, no, the
270X and the 7870?
Because the 280X is a 7970. The 280 is a 7950. The 270X is a 7870. Yes, they're the exact same GPU.
Same GPU, they just have different, slightly different clock speed.
270X is like slightly newer, so if there's no appreciable price difference between the two, then go with the 270X. If there's a big price reduction on the 7870,
it does have a higher memory clock speed. They bumped it up for the 270X.
They did?
It's the same GPU. They just clocked it a little bit differently.
Oh, okay. But you can overclock either of them anyway. So, if the 7870 is cheaper, then I'd say go for that, and maybe just overclock it. Apart from that, they're going to be very, very, very similar. Cool. All right, I think we can move on to some more stories.
Sweet.
What are we doing next? Do you want to do the Chaos Squad?
No. We should talk about some of your stories now.
Okay.
Because we'll talk about...
Let's see. Which ones should I actually talk about? Because I have more than enough. America is running out of IP addresses. We need to switch from IPv4 to IPv6. That's important. Let's talk about the kid. Where did that go?
The Canada teens hack ATM down at the bottom. Yeah.
All right. Here's a funny little story. If you guys missed this one this week. You know, crazy teens hacking stuff, right? The funny thing is that all the news, like so many of the news reports reported this as they hacked it, but really what they did was they read the manual. So this is an ATM.
I think they deserve every penny.
This is an ATM belonging to the Bank of Montreal in Canada. There's two 14-year-olds who looked up the manual for the ATM, discovered that it was fairly easy to get into the administrator mode, or like the mode where you can change things. The funny thing is, this Canada, right? So two 14-year-olds, and it's Canada. Whereas I feel like if it was in the U.S., you know, they'd take all the money and leave, right?
And then come back and do it again.
That's your impression, but they didn't. They went into the branch and they said, "Hey, it's really easy to log into your ATM as an administrator." They guessed the ATM 6-digit password, got it right on the first guess, which seemed to me the password might have been 1 2 3 4 5 6, which is funny enough. This is what they put the space balls.
Yeah.
This is for MaximumPC, by the way.
Oh no.
So they went in, they're like, "Hey, it's really hard to do this," and they're like, "Oh, you crazy kids, get out of here." So they went back out, logged in, went into operator mode, printed off a document showing how much money was in the machine, information about the withdrawals, and they could change the surcharge that the machine would charge, so they changed it to a penny. And then they changed the ATM greeting from "Welcome to the Bank of Montreal ATM" to "Go away, this ATM has been hacked." And then apparently the bank manager took them seriously. But the funny thing is that the bank also was very nice about it. See, this is why Canada is so great. Everyone's so nice. The bank was also nice about it. The bank printed them out an official letterhead for their school saying, "Please excuse these students. They were assisting the Bank of Montreal with security."
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
They should have given both of them like a gift card or some kind of cash reward for, you know, their efforts. But you know what I'm thinking is, you know how a lot of
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, no, you know what I'm thinking is that they probably found out from the manual that there is a default security password.
Yeah, a default password. Default password is password.
Preset, and that it was probably never changed, so they probably just gave that a shot.
Yeah, that's pretty hilarious, though. I have another funny.
Probably listed in the manual.
I have
what the default password was.
Probably, but yeah, that's pretty hilarious.
Oh, no.
Here's another funny random story. These are the ones I wasn't going to talk about till the end, but since we're close to the end anyway. So have you guys seen that Xbox One ad with Aaron Paul?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's like Aaron Paul, and he's sitting at home, and he's like, "Hey, since my role of a lifetime, I'm super busy," but really he's like sitting around playing video games. So it's an Xbox One ad, and he's showing Xbox One and how it's cool because Breaking Bad is cool, right? Associating those. But the hilarious thing is he does some Xbox One control commands, like the voice commands, and if you have an Xbox One, it will turn your Xbox One on. So he says stuff like Xbox on and Xbox go to Titanfall, and it's like people who are watching the commercial, it's controlling their Xbox and doing those things for them.
Xbox off, that's the funniest one to do to people. Steve has done that here, by the way.
Oh, really?
With our Xbox.
Just walks
while Kyle was playing, he like walked up and went, "Xbox off."
That's all you have to say and it just turns off. No prompt, no nothing.
This is awesome for every mom out there with a kid with an Xbox One.
Yes. Oh, that would be very useful.
That would be the first thing I would do, actually. If I bought my kid an Xbox One, I would register my voice as the admin voice on it. And so anytime I walked in and locked it or said Xbox off, go clean your room.
I go back to when I had played too many video games when I was little, and my mom would try to like stop me, and I'd be like, "Mom, I can't save it right now." Like playing Final Fantasy or something like that, and I'd be like, "No, I can't," And then she'd be like, "Okay, we'll go to where you're gonna save it," and then I'd play for like a half an hour more, and then she would get really mad at me, but that's okay.
I'm being asked by Alan. 15,003. What did you think of all the console-only games? Or I guess that would be 150,003. I can't read numbers without commas. What did you think of all the console-only games at E3? I think I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
Because consoles by themselves don't make money. Actually, most console developers like Microsoft and Sony lose money on every console you buy. There is almost zero margin on them. So
and most of them are negative margin.
Yeah, the PlayStation 3 I think had the most famous negative margin. For every unit sold, they lost something like $300.
Yeah.
So the only way they get that money back is by games, people buying video games. That's where the revenue is generated on the consoles. So unlike PCs, where the component manufacturers are all making a little bit of money off of every single piece in a PC that you buy, console makers are kind of all on their own, and they're just not profitable at all. So I expected to see a lot of console titles. I did not expect to see a lot of PC titles, and that's why I guess I didn't really point that out in any of my coverage, because I don't think anyone going to E3 should expect to see a lot of PC titles.
But those are out there.
They are out there, for sure.
You've got stuff like Steam, Greenlight, and that sort of thing.
Oh yeah,
doing that. So, but yeah, I mean that's one of the hugest.
I think every game I played except for Sunset Overdrive, which unfortunately was one of the funnest games I played.
Oh. And
that's an Xbox One exclusive.
What?
But every game I played is going to have a PC version. So I'm.
You know what? You know what's not no longer exclusive to the consoles?
What? GTA 5?
GTA 5.
Oh.
Not yet, though. Like fall.
Why is that taking so long? That's a year. Dude.
Because, so this is actually kind of what I suspected when GTA 5 first came out, which is why I bought it at the time, was because I was like, I'd love to speculate that they're going to come out with the PC version like within a few months or something like that. But honestly, what I saw them doing was waiting, pushing it back, introducing some new features, which they have, which is pretty cool, but kind of re-releasing the game with the PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. And that's what they're doing. So I was right, and I'm still happy though. Yes.
Very good, Paul.
Thank
Paul
you.
continues to be right.
Sometimes. I know I'm wrong a lot too. But yeah, so I'm still very excited. And did you see any of the screen? I'm sorry I didn't pull this up to show you guys, but they have a set of screenshots using some of the early content that's been released, showing the same like location with what is probably Xbox One or PlayStation 4 graphics, but still you can assume that the PC is going to be as good or better than that, especially once mods start getting involved, showing the difference between the console versions and the new versions.
Was GTA 5, wasn't it like I don't know, I remember something about it being 720 anyway.
Oh yeah, none of the last gen consoles are HD.
Yeah, so if
so I mean,
port it over to PC, maybe it'll be 1080.
You have that in for PC. Yeah, no, for PC you can play whatever the hell resolution you want to. I've been playing GTA 4 on PC at 2560
sure that
by
was a happy
1600
noise right in my mind.
for
Sorry.
a long time. That's okay. So yeah, that's what's cool about that. But yeah, I mean the new textures that have been integrated, and like, you know, before you had this kind of blank field that looked like a picture of the top of a field on a 2D thing, and now hey, there's actual plants there and stuff like that.
Steve is awakened in the chat.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good, Steve. Hi, Steve. I hope you're feeling better.
We hope you're feeling better, Steve.
Yeah. So
how's life in the plastic bubble?
Plastic? Is he living in a plastic bubble now?
I joked that the CDC descended upon him and put him in quarantine.
Well, they should. Him bringing back all those viruses from. Bradley King asks, will Newegg be shipping the colorful motherboards and GPUs to the UK? I'm not sure about that one. From what I've heard so far, we're bringing them in as a graphics card vendor. I don't think we're going to be having those motherboards, at least not at the beginning. They'll probably bring in the graphics cards and see how those perform. But unless there are trade restrictions or something like that, I would think they probably would also be available to the UK. So that's cool. It's another manufacturer bringing sort of a different take on video cards and that sort of thing. Oh, you found that. Hey.
Oh, no, Demand Ducks.
D-Man. Wait, I got that.
Sent it to me. I favorited it so that it would end up in our thing.
Oh, yeah, I should do that too.
We're good. We're good at the Twitters.
I got this. It's only a 3-step process. Oops, that's Steve's favorites. There we go. Now it's done. Hold on. I can do this better.
Meanwhile, over here, I will try to talk about something else. Somebody asked me a question. I was going to answer.
there it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well you guys can see that, but the one on the left is the new one. The one on the right is the old one. The one on the right looks like dirt, and the one on the left, like suddenly there's a person there. There's just people where there weren't people before. No, I'm sure that's part of it. But yeah, I mean the visual effects, the lighting effects for the sun look way better. The coloring looks way better.
There's grass.
And there's grass. Like, hey, there's foliage.
Texture.
I mean, just imagine how much more fun it would be to run that guy over with all of that grass there. It's like,
you actually see patches of grass flying in places.
Awesome.
Craft Chest asked me, what did you see tech-wise at E3 that just made you stop and go, ooh?
Tech-wise?
That would be Oculus Rift. I got to do both VR experience, VR helms that were available. I got to do Oculus Rift and I got to do Project Morpheus from PlayStation. And Oculus was like, do you remember the first time you saw the Matrix movie in the theater?
Yes.
And you walked out just like something had just opened your eyes. Or something, you knew something had changed.
Well, the thing with Matrix is I was expecting that movie to be okay, and then suddenly I was like, wow, that was actually really. It was the first movie in a really long time that exceeded my expectations rather than just meeting them or not living up to them. But yes, also the concept, all that kind of stuff.
The way it was shot, it was like you knew that it gave me pause, I guess is the best way to put it, and it you could see that happening to everyone who was walking out of the Oculus booth who just went through the demo experience. We were all just kind of standing around like lost children in a field outside the Oculus booth talking to each other going, did you do the one with the fox, or what game did you play? And like, oh no, I did the one with the fox. Yeah, it was amazing, right?
I still haven't tried on an Oculus.
I'm going to make that change though, because the Oculus people are super cool.
Yay.
They would love to come to our studio.
Yay.
So we're going to get that in the very near future. Hopefully have Oculus is going to come here and bring some dev units and set us all up and let us all experience it. But you have to, it's changing. It changed my life. In that moment, I felt that I had just put on a technology that was not just going to change video games, but it was going to change humanity. And it was a really, the breadth and scope of that in that moment blew my mind, which is probably why my outro of that day was so just gibberish, because I had just gotten out of the Oculus
Mind
Rift.
had just been blown.
There's nothing left. I didn't have a firing synapse in my head. But that was it. And okay, so everybody's going to ask next, what was the PlayStation VR helmet like? Not as good yet. Not as good yet.
Did you try the PlayStation VR helmet?
I did.
Yeah?
And
was it kind of...
it was interesting because I got to use the PlayStation, what are those, the wands, the moves? The moves, the name of those do not coordinate with the shape or thing that you are using. But anyway, I got to use it with 2 moves, so I got to have the use of my hands in that demo, and I was a knight and I had swords, and I was hacking and slashing and punching and blah,
That's
blah,
kind of
blah.
fun.
And that made it more interactive, certainly, than the Xbox controller that I was using with the Oculus Rift, but the visual experience wasn't as good on the PlayStation, and also the comfort of the... Excuse me. That was lovely. I had chicken wings and lots of them for lunch.
They were good.
They're so good. Anyway, the comfort of the PlayStation Morpheus is not what the Oculus Rift. The Oculus Rift, you forget it's there, but the Morpheus, you never forget it's there, because it's like wearing dive, swim goggles.
Oh, okay.
And the Oculus Rift actually comes back to about here on your forehead. Or maybe it's right here, but anyway, the actual device is outside of your peripheral vision.
So does it wrap around field of view more so than the PlayStation one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's cool. Just really, really comfortable. It's really comfortable on your head. You don't feel it any pinching or anything like that. And I gave all of this feedback to the Morpheus folks. I gave them that exact comparison, and so hopefully they'll listen and work on that a little bit, because I really believe in the technology. But PlayStation is more after it as a gaming peripheral, whereas Oculus is after it for a whole different host of reasons.
A ton of different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like the hardware limitations of the PlayStation 4 will probably be really limit the usefulness of that, whereas Oculus you can connect to a computer and do lots of things with it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that very soon,
because
it's
they're such nice people at Oculus, and even if they said even if they can't make it up here to the studio, that they will most likely be able to set us up something where we can go down there and hang out with them. So yeah, sooner rather than later, that will be happening.
Excellent. Yeah, and Steve ordered the dev kit for that too.
Yeah.
So I don't know when.
Steve
I don't know when he's gonna get that.
was the first one of our team to try the Dev 1 kit. And that's he got to see the light earlier than anyone else, but he said the Dev 1 kit made him motion sick, but that they've fixed it since then. And anyway, it's very impressive.
Cool. Well, we are almost, it's about wrap-up time. I have a couple quick Twitter questions I spotted here I wanted to answer. One is, which Extreme CPU is really today a real leap? Pentium D965 Extreme Edition to the QX9770, for example. What about after i7-990X, since Ivy Bridge and Sandy Bridge and Haswell? I would say since Intel went to TikTok, there's been sort of expected improvements from generation to generation. You get about maybe 8 to 15% IPC improvement as you go from one to the next. I'm really hoping that Haswell E, especially compared to the current stuff that's available on X79, will be a really nice jump, but I think that's going to be as much about the CPU as it is about the chipset and the improvements in like peripheral controller hub and next generation connectivity of for storage and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's been a while since we saw jumps like we saw back in the 990X days and the Extreme Edition days. Well, I guess they're still Extreme Edition, but I think that was because they were more reacting and trying to catch up to AMD, because AMD was ahead back in 06 or so. So yeah, that was cool. And then here's a question that no one's ever asked me, but a good question. Any tips on shipping computers? I do have some tips on shipping computers. A lot of the larger system integrators will actually use static foam, or like the anti-static foam that they fill the interior with. That's not as practical for people who are just shipping systems from home, because that's that's an added expense to buy that kind of thing. Definitely, if you're going to ship a computer, I actually recommend using an all-in-one liquid cooler because you can actually attach the 120 millimeter radiator or something like that to the system, and it's much more sturdy. If you're shipping a computer and it has an air cooler, if it's anything besides the stock cooler, if it's a large tower cooler or anything like that, you kind of just have to remove that air cooler if you can't do other stabilizing material in the case. Otherwise it'll fall off, it'll bend or break the motherboard, it can cause some real damage. And then I always pull out the video card and either ship that separately in a different box or in its own retail box, or I have before taken out the video card, done some anti-static, and then wrapped it in some foam, and then I zip tied it to the drive cages inside, and that was a reasonable way to include that in and not have to ship an extra box along with it.
Boxes are huge sometimes.
Yeah, but for shipping...
Where's the devil card? That thing's...
yeah, those are absurd. But yeah, for shipping computers, that's actually why, I think if you go to CyberPower or iBuyPower PC, a lot of times they'll say hey, free 120 millimeter liquid cooler with whatever system you buy. And that's really nice and everything, but I know why they're doing it. It's because those ship so much better than air coolers and tower coolers.
I can tell you guys missed Paul.
What? Why?
Because you're getting such good questions.
Oh.
I can tell.
I missed you guys too.
I missed you.
So Steve has SARS. And
Sorry. I got asked, did anyone recognize you at E3? Yes.
Yes. Jenny got some. Jenny was interviewed at E3 by somebody who recognized her. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's always cool. And I could tell when I was walking around in the NVIDIA tent that a lot of people actually recognized me, but they were kind of too shy to say anything, but it was kind of like the moment of recognition where they're like, oh, and then I'm like, hey, how's it going? Because I'm me. Yeah. And they're like, oh, okay. Do not approach, do not engage.
Well, maybe they were worried you...
Oh, hi.
Maybe they heard about what happened at the Ubisoft thing when you were talking, when you were ripping them about the girls in Assassin's Creed.
I don't rip anybody. I just make them feel like they should go in
That's
their
true.
lives.
They didn't want the epic guilt trip. I spotted a question. Beast Sword asked, when will Project Christine from Razer come out? There was just an interview with the Razer, I believe the CEO, about that. They are working with OEMs, and that means who knows when.
I just read a tweet from...
Huh? Oh, we just had an earthquake?
Did we just have an earthquake?
No, two magnitude earthquake. It's
no big thing.
Nothing.
Ain't no thing.
Knock on wood.
Something else.
Okay. But I think we should probably, but Razer Project Christine, I would like to see that come out. I am very dubious about it actually happening because it's so proprietary and they have to get so much OEM support to actually manufacture those components. But if it does, that'd be super sweet.
Disengage, Jenny.
We don't have any. We don't have anything for sure about that.
What do you think about Project Cars?
What is Project Cars?
There you go. You have your answer.
I don't know what that is either.
You know, I don't pay much attention to video game car things because I can't play them. I'm terrible at them. And they're not fun for me. They're not as much fun for me as real cars.
All right, so now we're going to throw it over to our sports team. They're going to be bringing you live coverage for the next 24 hours of the FIFA World Cup.
Huh?
I just. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. I
Yes,
blacked
we have
out.
a correspondent in Brazil you've never met.
I blacked out for a second.
Paper Kyle.
Oh yeah, Paper Kyle. What? Oh, we should tell Tina that we need a soccer.
Oh yeah, we need a
football.
Soccer,
We need a football
Paper Kyle.
themed segment
but
of Paper
since
Kyle.
we don't know what nationality Kyle is, we don't know what team he would be
That's
on.
perfect.
Exactly
Football it's such an international sport. You know, it brings all these countries together.
Here's Kyle playing for Chile, and here's Kyle playing for Germany, and here's Kyle playing for everyone.
Exactly. She can make one and then just change the uniform every day. Okay. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Alt+Tab show today.
Thank you very much.
It's been really great to be back. We are really looking forward to the Game of Thrones season finale this weekend. Hopefully you guys watch it too. No spoilers. No spoilers.
I want to see your faces.
Rachel's read the books and she wants to see our faces.
Okay, but we
And
can't
have
see your face, so we might have to have you put a paper, put a bag over your head with eye holes,
Blinders.
so we can't see you.
We'll have her sit in another room. We'll set up a live stream so she can watch us from the other.
With the mountain
Yeah, you did good.
There's people here who might not be caught up, so
Okay.
we should.
I like this idea though. Paul says that we need to set you up with a live stream in another room where
Yeah.
you can watch us.
I do just like being there. You can still hear our gasps and all that kind of stuff. Okay, don't forget to tune in next week. Yoked Tuesdays and Thursdays, and another Q&A. Send us some questions for Q&A next week on Wednesday. And
What do you want to tell Linus?
what do we want to tell Linus? Tell Linus to watch Game of Thrones. I don't know. I don't have anything yet. Tell Linus we'll see you at.
Where's your blanket, Linus?
No.
How could I phrase this? I don't know if this has been talked about yet. So tell Linus that we'll see you at 14,000 feet.
Oh, that's
That's
good.
all I could say.
See you at 14,000 feet. I like
14,000
that.
feet. All right.
Yes.
Okay, but we're signing off now. Thank you all so
Okay.
much for watching again, and now
Bye,
it's actually
everybody.
ending. Wait, I gotta click the thing.